and I'm back today to actually show off a bit of a kind of an unrelated project to any specific uh, AP class necessarily. So this was AP Physics 1. This is kind of my end of year project, and it's a program in Java, or actually, I mean, it's not CodeHS, but it's a Java program. It's not very well written Java. Um, I've really only ever done anything in JavaScript, so I'm trying to kind of learn Java. So this is just kind of like the first thing I ever wrote in it, and I had to get help for it. But um, really, what it is since it's physics, it's a net force calculator. So it's kind of more related to the second unit dynamics in AP Physics 1. And what it does is that uh, it asks you like how many forces there are, um, and then you enter in the magnitude and angle of each force, and then it calculates what the net force is on the system. And this is all assuming that the force is acted upon the center of mass of the system. So if you run the code right here, it'll take a little while, and then it'll say how many forces are present on the system. I'll keep it basic. I'll say 2. This force has a magnitude of how many newtons? So it's asking about the first force. I'll say 10. Um, Horizontal, facing right, how many degrees? I'll say 180. Next one, force, I'll say 25. And just to keep this simple, I'll say 0. And so the output of this system should be, since these forces are facing opposite to each other, it should be just 25 newtons minus the 10 newtons. So it should be, the net force should be 15 newtons at 0 degrees. Enter. 15 newtons at an angle of 0 degrees. So there you go. And you can do, of course, way more complicated stuff. It's just kind of harder to keep up with it. Like you could say there's 7 forces, 23 newtons, 98 degrees. Like you could just put in completely random stuff. Again. Yeah, just like 36, I don't know. Just keep going. 312. And the net force is 39.15 newtons at an angle of 16 degrees above the horizontal. There you go. So calculate out all that. And yeah, that's just how the program works. It's what I did is I had to import a lot of stuff because it's Java, and then I just I'll explain this program. So more or less, I made like an array list of forces, and what I did is that the information you give me about the angle and the magnitude, I use to calculate the x component and y component of the force. So if the force is at 0 degrees or 180 degrees or 90 or 270, that it's like a straight line, one of these two components is going to be 0, which is fine. But so once it gets the x and y component, it like adds each one to the net x and the net y. And then using that, it does Pythagorean theorem to find the net force. Messes around with the angle a bit with arctangent. It's like the tangent with the little -1 next to it. And then I had to put this in because for some reason, I think because of just trig is used with 180-degree triangles, it like assumes that a circle is 180 degrees. So that was a bit of a bug for a little while. And then yeah, it just prints out kind of what your magnitude is. So you can even like if you run, you say, hold on, this might take a while. Okay, if you say there's one force, it is 0 newtons at 23 degrees. It will say there's no net force exerted on the system because otherwise it was a little bit buggy. But yeah, so this was my net force calculator project for AP Physics 1. Thank you.